All right, so I'm just a young, stupid dog, and this is the sixth take of white Jesus versus black Jesus. This is the Florida takes. I'm a young, stupid dog. We made it as far as West Pompano, okay? So you can figure everything else out from there. We were hanging out with some guys. This whole story takes place when the man was hanging out with some guys on Seaside Heights. It's an ocean thing, but we're in Florida. This story takes place in, a long time ago in New Jersey, where the man was trying to beat a rap, so he was pretending a la One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that he was hanging out with the nuts, to try to beat. He didn't want to serve time waiting. It turns out he was acquitted. He served 5 years on and off. That's all accrued to him. So he could commit a heinous crime of some kind. As long as it's no more than 5 years, the penalty, serving time, he's already got it covered. He still looked at the judge. He could try to do some counterfeiting or rob a bank. The judge would be like, this is your first time, the man. So we're just going to give you 4.5 years. He's like, beautiful. You still owe me 6 more months. So he could walk out of the courtroom. That's the way the man had operated. That's why he was at Seaside Heights with a bunch of mental defectives out on a day out, so to speak. And they were at Seaside Heights, and it turned out one of the guys thought he was white Jesus, the other guy thought he was black Jesus, and the man, they're all in bathrobes and their pajamas, walking around Seaside Heights on the boardwalk looking for a place to get some lemonade and a slice of Sicilian. But turns out some of the adherents there, like in this the sixth chapter, some of the adherents on the Preferred Adherents Club, which almost died away, we're reviving it. We're still taking the dues off of people's credit cards, so don't think, but we're trying to, build the number. We lost a few. What I say, I don't know what happened. They canceled their subscriptions to the Preferred Adherents Club. I don't know. But the ones that are left, they're saying, hey, how come you're always just like dissing on black Jesus? And the only thing you really do with white Jesus is you say he's like, a porcelain goddess. Like it could have been Barbie doll Jesus over here. So I was like, well, that's the kind of the thing. That's the kind of the funny thing was that this guy was born in the cradle of civilization under the sun in a desert-esque setting, but he's as lily white as Cinderella, okay? He's got the same eyes as Cinderella, and his hair's a little bit more wispy, but he's a blondie, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, it's all right. He's a porcelain goddess, whatever. In people's imaginations, of course, Jesus Christ was, Jesus Christ was really black Jesus Christ. But anyways, that's why we're making the most fun of the guy, because, we're like, the truth is that Jesus probably was black, so, we lost this whole verses thing at the beginning, if you really think about it. So now we're just going to really try to, give it back to them. People that, though you got the winners, you want to root for the underdogs, White Jesus is the underdog, except for in all of our minds. We all still picture Jesus as being white, even African-American people. And so, but the reason we kind of dig at black Jesus a little more, make a little bit more fun of black Jesus, is because we really know that Jesus was black, so whatever, it doesn't matter. So if you want to do a little bit of funny things that are a little gruesome and maybe a little racist or egotistical or misogynistic or not even bigoted maybe is the word I'm looking for, bigoted, you'd say, so the joke would go something like this, like Jesus was walking around, he's like, God bless, these guys, they're driving me crazy over here. I can't get away from these guys, they're driving me crazy. Anyways, Jesus was having a little bit of a fit because this one guy, he basically, Jesus was like, I'd like to have a round cake, a honey cake. And the guy was like, it's $5. And Jesus was like, $5 for a round honey cake? It's like, so he got a little bit miffed. But then Jesus was like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to goad me into the whole thing where, a person of my persuasion in Hebrew is going to try to, down you. Not, the whole, the whatever you say, the pejorative is, J-word you down. Hey, man, you got to try to J-word me down on that honey bun? It's five Schenectadies. Give me my $5. And Jesus was like, you want a $5 for that? And then Jesus was like, oh, God bless. So the thing about Jesus was he would never barter because he's like, I don't want to get caught up in the whole trope that Jews are too stingy or they're too money conscious or that they know how to strike the best deals. that trope that they're so intelligent with finances that they could rule the earth financially just on their financial abilities. That's a trope. It's like if a black guy's got a big giant schwanz, like, you stupid bastard, you got a big giant penis. You're like, you think all the Jews are so smart with money and they could rule the earth with their banks and everything if they wanted to? It's so true, but yet you're so stupid for even thinking about it. It's a trope. You shouldn't even think about those things. You try to give him a compliment, it turns out it's a backhanded compliment. You look like a mokes because you even said it. You're like, this big black guy, he looks like his fucking penis is going to touch his kneecap. That's a terrible thing to say. Well, these Jews are like, God bless you, throw these Jews, you can tie them up and throw them in a lava pit. They're going to come out smelling like the roses. That's a terrible thing to say. Financially, I want to say. Anyways, but the thing about Jesus was he would never engage in, white Jesus would never engage in these barterings and this, whatever you call the back and forth and, worrying about money so much. But the thing about white Jesus is he couldn't hide that thing that them Jews have. Like, you do not want to try to pitch a tent with white Jesus because he'll drive you crazy, nitpicking every little freaking thing. He's always got the better idea. He always knows how it should be done better, It's like, white Jesus, why don't you do it then, Snap your fingers, white Jesus, and do a miracle and put up the tent over here. In the desert, he starts right away with you trying to drive the stakes in. He's like, how do you know you're going to drive the stakes in there? You even pulled the tent on over here. And you're like, white Jesus, give me a break. It's the first ones. I'm going to pull the tent over on the other side. He's like, no, that's not how you do it. And they start nitpicking you, telling you, because they know how to do it better. And they're so domineering and they're so, you don't want them to say it up in your face and they can't stand it. That was the one thing that you couldn't get away from with white Jesus. You did not want to try to pitch a tent with white Jesus around. Unless you're really, really patient. Unless you got the patience of Job over here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a stupid dog. And I was just trying to relate with the man that told me about his times there in Seaside Heights on one of them days out like they did, in the movies that one time, for all the nuts to go out at the seashore and have a beautiful day for themselves. It's a beautiful thing. And this is the sixth take of white Jesus versus black Jesus. Whatever, don't worry about it.